Unkle are a British musical outfit founded in 1994 by school friends James Lavelle and Tim Goldsworthy. Originally categorized as trip-hop, the group once included producer DJ Shadow and have employed a variety of guest artists and producers. History. First incarnation Lavelle and Goldsworthy were joined by Masayuki Kudo and Toshio Nakanishi of the Japanese hip-hop crew Major Force. Second incarnation Lavelle drafted in DJ Shadow to work on the debut album, and essentially discarded all previously recorded material. Lavelle and Shadow released Science Fiction in 1998 to critical acclaim. The album included collaborations with an all-star lineup including Thom Yorke, Mike D, Kool G Rap, Jason Newsted, Badly Drawn Boy and Richard Ashcroft. The album was mixed by Shadow's longtime collaborator, producer Jim Abyss. Shadow left the group after touring Science Fiction and was replaced by turntablist group The Scratch Perverts, who deconstructed the album and performed it live on turntables in 1999. Also in 1999, former producer Rich File remixed the track Unreal, adding vocals by Ian Brown, and the resulting track was released as the single Be There. On February 1, 1999, Lavelle and the Scratch Perverts appeared on the Radio 1 program The Breeze Block, utilizing 5 turntables. The set was largely based on tracks from Science Fiction, with some of them reworked live by Lavelle for the live performance. The Scratch Perverts' contribution consisted of scratching over the top of the Unkle tracks, a deconstructed version of Be There, and some solo interludes. Third incarnation In 2001, Lavelle and File resurfaced as Unkle Sounds, with a DJ mix created for Japanese radio entitled Do Androids Dream of Electric Beats? This highlighted a new, more electronic direction the group had taken, and featured a number of tracks from Science Fiction, remixed in a techie breakbeat style. Rich File co-produced, played and sang on the second album, Never, Never, Land, released in 2003. The album again featured a number of high-profile contributors, including Ian Brown, Josh Homme, Robert Dellinger and Marnie among others. Lavelle and File continued releasing mixes as Unkle Sounds. The mix album Edit Music for a Film, original motion picture soundtrack reconstruction, featuring movie samples and tracks from film soundtracks, was created for the After Dark 2004 event at the ICA London. A single CD version was handed out at the event, and it was released officially as an extended 2-disc set in 2005. The group gave music for a short film titled As the Seed directed by Joe Hahn alongside with John Debney, and Mike Shinoda of Linkin Park. In September 2006, Global Underground released Self-Defense, Never, Never, Land Reconstructed and Bonus Beats, a 4-CD box set of remixes and bonus tracks from the Never, Never, Land sessions, including tracks previously only available on the original DVD release of the album. It also contained remixes of a track mooted for their next album, featuring Ian Astbury of The Cult, titled Burn My Shadow. War Stories, the third album from Unkle, was released in summer 2007. The album again featured a number of guests including Josh Homme, Gavin Clark, Robert Dellinger, Ian Astbury, The Duke Spirit, Autalux and Neil Davidg. Following the release of the single Hold My Hand, Pablo Clements became an Unkle member. Fourth incarnation In January 2008 Unkle released More Stories, containing a mix of B-sides, remixes, unreleased War Stories session tracks, and music composed for the film Odyssey in Rome. The same month, Rich File announced he was leaving Unkle after 10 years collaboration to pursue work with his new band, We Fell to Earth. In March the Lazarites Gallery in London showcased War Paint, an exhibition of artworks inspired by the recent Unkle album War Stories, with works from Robert Dellinger, Warren Dupriez, Nick Thornton-Jones, Will Bankhead and Ben Drury. Unkle began touring the UK with Zoot Woman and Sebastian and Mr. Flash from the French electro record Ed Banger Records. The concert, set across 4 acts, featured live performances from past Unkle contributors including Badly Drawn Boy, Leela Moss from The Duke Spirit, Gavin Clark and Joel Cadbury from South. Unkle's fourth full album titled End Titles. Stories for Film was released in July 2008. It includes collaborations from Chris Goss, Black Mountain, Philip Shepard, Dave Bateman, Joel Cadbury, and James Griffith. The album is described in the sleeve notes by Lavelle as not a new album in the usual sense, but new music that has been inspired by the moving image. As such, it can be considered a companion piece both to War Stories but also to the earlier Unkle Sounds mix. Edit Music for a Film, December 15, 2008, saw the release of End Titles Redo. This release features 7 reinterpreted tracks from the album End Titles Stories for Film Unregistered Trademark plus 2 never-before-released tracks, When Once It Was, and A Perfect Storm. The exclusive package is a 6-panel soft pack with a 12-page booklet with images by Robert Dullinger. Upon the release of the single Heavy Drug in August 2009, Unkle disclosed they had already begun recording their next studio album, Where Did the Night Fall?, which was released in May 2010. This also included an all-star cast of performers including Mark Lanegan, Nick Cave, The Black Angels, Sleepy Sun, and Katrina Ford, as well as LJ and Gavin Clark. The album is also available as a digital download from Unkle's site. It was announced on April 18, 2011 that Unkle would headline the dance stage at the Reading and Leeds festivals. They will be performing a world-exclusive audio-visual DJ set at the festivals, playing songs from their back catalogue alongside remixes of other artists' songs as well as Unkle's own material. They will be performing under the name Unkle Sounds. On February 27, 2014, the God of Light single was published on iTunes, with 2 songs from the God of Light game by Playmas and Eon. The in-game credits lists music composed by Unkle/James Lavelle/Charlie May. Discography: Science Fiction, Never, Never, Land, War Stories, End Titles. Stories for Film, Where Did the Night Fall? Appearances. Tours, 2008 Unkle Live UK Tour Stories, 2008 Cream Fields Buenos Aires, Argentina. References. External links, official website, Unkle discography at Discogs, Unkle discography at Music Brains.